Hey everyone, we are live. Okay, so a lot of people were asking me for Nuxt content. So I'm going to go quickly over Nuxt content today. So if you've just joined, make sure you say hi. And let me know what exactly you're looking for when it comes to Nuxt content. If you don't know what Nuxt content is, it's a fantastic way to write markdown files inside your application and then basically fetch them and be able to use them in your app. So it's really, really cool. And you don't have to set up a CMS or set up a login or set up anything like that. But then you have all your files, they're Git based, right? So they're in your repo. So it's absolutely great for developers. So if you're a developer, then this is absolutely perfect for you. So let's see. Do we have anyone here today? Yes, Randy. Randy, you're always there. Always the first one. You're the best. So yeah, people ask for Nuxt content. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look into Nuxt content. Now, Nuxt content is fantastic and it's really, really easy to use. I say easy. I mean, it's easy when you know how, right? So, but no, it's not. It's not that difficult. So we'll look into it. There are many ways to get started with Nuxt content. So if you are new to it, then you will need to install it if you're installing it onto a project that already exists. Or if you're starting a new project with a Create Nuxt app, you can select content and it will just install everything for you. So let me go through. I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing because that makes it easier. And there we go. I'm in a corner. Okay. Hi, Kim. So Nuxt content, right? This is the app I created, Nuxt content beers. I'm in the mood for beer, so it's going to be all about beers tonight. So this is just a basic app using Create Nuxt app. And I'm going to show you documentation because I think it's really important. I think a lot of people forget that we have documentation and they think you're meant to remember everything. You are not meant to remember everything, right? Everything is documented for a reason. Hey, Sergio. Hey, Nico. Okay, so the Nuxt content docs, that's one place you can go, content.nuxtjs.org, and you can see how easy it is to install. So if you haven't already got it, it's yarn add or npm install Nuxt content and then add it to your modules in your Nuxt config, right? So simple as that. Now the documentation, hey Ramazan, if you have any questions about Nuxt content, do throw them in the chat. I will be keeping an eye on it. So yeah, use the documentation because seriously, it makes your life easier. We also have like a whole chapter on content in the documentation as well. And we even have this absolutely amazing, like you can just print this out if you have a printer. Or save it to your desktop or whatever. And this will also kind of help you learn how the Nuxt content module works. It's really, really, really good. It was done by Kruti, one of our ambassadors, and it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, download that as well. And we also, of course, have a blog post written by moi. Yeah, so this will also help you get through if you're kind of like starting out with Nuxt content. I don't like to recommend my own work, right? But seriously, it's a detailed blog post and it has like a demo and the source code, and you can go through it and learn everything there is to that you need to know about Nuxt content. So really, like, it's all there. Everything is there. So I'm going to show you like by coding. I'll probably make a mess of this. Who knows? We'll see. So that's where to get all the information. So now we've got our application, right? Like I said, I've set it up with Nuxt, Create Nuxt app, and I selected content, which basically what it did was it gave me a content folder with this hello.md file inside, right? Now, how does this work exactly? So we have at the top what's called YAML. Okay, so this is these three lines here. These start and end our YAML. And in here, we put like title, description. You can put image. You can put absolutely anything you want. You can use an object. You can use an array. You can use a string. You can use a number. You can use a Boolean. So you can put all that in there, and then you can access it like you would anything, right? Like, this could be like the content or the page.title, page.description, page.image, etc. Now, what's under here, what's under these three lines is the body, right? This is all written in markdown. So because this is written in markdown, this is your body, and this is what you get when you actually fetch the content, the document, right? This is the document. These are not included in the document. These are fetched using page.title, page.description, etc. We'll look at that in a second. So that's how that works. And what else do you get? So when you install it, you've already got it in your Nuxt config, so you don't have to do that, but I'll quickly show you. It should be here, Nuxt content, right? So that's included there. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to get it up and running. So let's start adding, hey Felix, let's start adding some content using content, right? Okay, so what are we gonna do? Right, I said I like beers, so let's create a beer reviews, right? So what we need is we need to fetch some content. Well, we could fetch the hello page if you want. It's really boring. We could do that. Or I'm just gonna like throw some content in and fetch beers. I like beers more. So I'm gonna copy a beer page. So you're gonna watch this magic paste, and now I've got like all this beer, right? So I've got the Belgian beer. We're starting off with some Belgian beer. Got a lovely description there about the Belgian beer. I've got an image. I've got a country. I've got a type. And then I've got some markdown text, right? Simple as that. That's pretty much all I did. Just made it a little bit nicer than the hello. And let me change that hello to be, we'll call it the beer name, which is Belgian Moon. So this is a markdown file. That's my first beer created, and now we're just going to fetch it, right? We're just going to get that data. So we'll do it in, let's create a, should we create a reviews page? We'll put it in the index. We can put it in the index. It's fine. Okay, so I'm on the index page, and what I want to do is first get rid of everything that's in here because I don't really want those links. They're just going to the documentation, and we can leave the heading, and we can get rid of the logo and save that, make it a little bit nicer. Okay, so now, cool, we have our Nuxt content beers, and let's fetch our data. And let me just hide all this styles because we don't need to know anything about that. So again, fetching our data, you have to remember, how do I fetch? Don't remember, just go to the documentation, right? So which documentation are we going to choose? Let's have a look here. This one is quite nice, right? And you can choose any of the documentation, but I'm going to use this one. So I like this one, the displaying content, because it gives me a nice example here, right? So let's take a look at that, and let's go down to the async data in my script tag. So basically what I'm doing in here is I'm passing in, this is in from the context. I have like, I'm available to get $content from the context. So that's in there for me, so I can use that. So I need to pass it into async data so then I can access it, right? And you'll see it down here. I'm now accessing this, right? So I'm basically saying async data, get my content, and then I just say const page. We can call this whatever we want. It could be const article, const beer, and then await the content, and I want to fetch the page I want to fetch, right? In my case, it's going to be Belgian Moon, I called it. I always forget to put the fetch in the end. Really important to fetch, okay? So make sure you're adding fetch. And then you're going to return that data, and then you have access to that data up here using page, right? And remember what I said about the YAML being page.title, page.description, and the body is under the document with a special component called Nuxt content, and that's how you access that. So it's kind of really, really simple, right? So let's just copy it because it's, you know, it's all here for us, right? So I'm going to copy this async data, and I'm going to go to my code, and I'm going to put it into my export default. Okay, so I've got my content, I'm awaiting. I want to await my Belgian Moon. And I'm going to return the page, and then I just need to use it. So let's take the page.title. So copy that so we can see what's going on. And instead of my Nuxt content beers, I'm going to put, ooh, I didn't paste that right. Let me do that again. Control C, Control V. Dun, dun, dun. And there we got it, right? Now, I'm going to save this and prettier. I'll make it a little bit prettier. And if that worked out the way it should, I should have a title. Simple as that. Let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. And can't read property title of, there we go, getting started. Getting started? So where did that come from? So let's have a look at my title in my Belgian Moon. So my title is Belgian Moon. So I need to find out where getting started came from. So let me refresh, and it should. And it didn't. It gave me a different title. Why did it give me a different title? Let's have a look at what's going on in my code. And in my page's index, I said page.title. That's correct. So I'm basically going to the content folder. I'm trying to get this Belgian Moon. I'm fetching it. I'm returning it, and it's not working out. So what do I do in this scenario? So what you can do here is you can actually basically print out what's in your data, right? So my data is page. I should call it beer because that would have like, you know, been easier. But I'm going to print that out, and we can do that in a pre-tag, right? Dun, dun, dun. Now you can also print out dollar data, and that will give you all your data. That's kind of nice as well. Let's just print out page to see if we're actually getting that page. And whoa, I'm getting all this content, right? So everything is working out here. And can you see, like, the title here is getting started. So that's where my title is coming from. And it's writing content, fetching content. I'm getting all this. So it seems to be working, right? I'm getting all the content. It's just it's all strange, and I can't, like, you know, can't really understand what's going on here. It's all children, there's elements, there's P, there's props. It's like, what? Okay, so basically what we've done in here is we have pasted in a markdown file. We've changed this here, right? We've got Belgian moon, we've got, and if I look here, I'm not gonna find a Belgian moon. Oh, look, there we go. I've got Belgian moon as the path, right? It's got the path, and it's got a slug. Now, where did that come from? So the slug is coming from the page name. I called it Belgian moon, but I'm not getting any text here. I'm not getting, like, there's the word Heineken. Like, I'm not getting that, right? So yeah, there's no Heineken in here. So something is up, right? And that's because we changed the page. We like kind of completely changed this. We didn't tell Nuxt. So Nuxt has got to rebuild again. So I'm going to just go up here to my, let me come in here. Dun, 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 dun. Reset, restart, reset the server, and then we're going to have that, and that will work, or should work, right? So we'll close that up again, and in a couple of seconds it should be rebuilding, as you can see there in the corner. And 45, 50, 60, 70, 89, and we should get our beer content. Let's have a look. Let's refresh and see. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so what are we going to do? There's another thing we can do to check what's coming from our content, and that's to actually use, let me show you in here. I think it's under, it's under here in the API. If we under here in the API, I will show you something really cool. Oops. API. So the API endpoint, right? So if we go to the API endpoint, which is this one here, and we can click it. Whoa, look at that. I've got my API endpoint, and I'm able to get everything that's coming in from my API. Hi, Diego. Everything's coming in from my API. I'm able to get it. Do you see that? It's underscore content. So you can see everything that's coming in from your API using underscore content. So that's kind of really cool as well, right? So let's make this a little bit better. And let me show you something else. What else can I show you? Let's throw a load of pages in here. I've got already some created. And let's gonna fetch them. Dun, 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 dun. Old Vienna. Some lovely beers in here. And let me put it in a folder actually, because then I can show you even more. Put it in a folder, because you can fetch from a folder, right? Or you can fetch directly in the content. So you can fetch however you want. So I'm putting it in a reviews folder. So you might have articles, and then you might have like something else. So you can put everything in different folders, right? So that's cool. I've got 3 beers now, okay? So how do you fetch from a folder? And you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. It's called reviews. Where's my page? Okay, here we go. So now in here, I can fetch reviews and fetch it, and let's call it reviews. I mean, we don't have to. We could just leave it as page, but just to show you that you can do it. Reviews. And what I'm gonna have to do is, because it's like I'm fetching a folder. Hey Sandy, hey Diego. Because I'm fetching a folder, I'm gonna have to do a v4, right? So let me see the easiest way to do this. We can do let me just put it here, and then I'll put it down. So we can do a v4. Oh, did you see that? It's just magic, right? That's Sarah Drasner's code snippets. So I've just done my v4 and I want to have for review in reviews, we can have review dot title, and then let me put this in here. Well, we don't need the pre one, right? Because we can see our API, so we will leave that out. Put in our review dot title, and let's see. Probably shouldn't have a H1 in here, right? We should have a H2. And then we should just call this reviews. That'd be a bit kind of, you know, better. Okay. We take that div away. Okay, so we are getting our reviews is await our reviews folder, which is coming from here, which has 3 reviews in here. And we're returning the reviews, and we're doing a review in reviews, and then we're basically doing a h2 reviews.title to print out the title of each review, right? That's the plan. That's as far as we're going to get. You thought you missed the stream, Edward. Yeah, I might do a terrible job, so you know, it might not even be worth watching. Let's have a look and see what we've got, if we've got any beers or not. Let me go to, okay, I've got a not found. Great. Refresh. Reviews. Okay, so what is going on here? We have, let me see, what have I done wrong? We have got our content, reviews. I spelled it, I did spell it right. Yes, return reviews. It is in brackets, await .content, reviews, .fetch. Let's only fetch the title for now. So we can use only here. Oops. Only, and we can fetch, let's put it in array. Let's just fetch the title for now. So, and then just throw fetch at the end. So we can say only give me the title and then fetch that. And then you can only get like the title. You could put in here everything else you want, right? So let me just open up this and restart. There we go. And localhost 3000. Perfect. Hey, Maximilian. So what other questions do you have when it comes to content? I've got to see if this works. If not, I'll be asking the questions. Okay, so you dividing the content type by folder. Yes, I always divide it by folder, because then, so this is not working at all, which is interesting. Let's have a look at what's in my API. It's like it's not giving me anything. So my title is empty, right? So you can see that. So that's giving me a problem. So that's why it's good. Now I can remove the title and see if I just get everything and fetch it. Reviews, content, reviews. Let me make sure I wrote that right. I'm bringing it across. I did. I want to fetch reviews and nothing and nothing. Okay, let me remove reviews and see what's going on here. Because it should fetch. Should just fetch. It normally does. Unless I've done something very strange, but it just isn't working on this one. Which could be something wrong. Something like not working in this environment. Sometimes it does that, right? Let me just open this Chrome and see what is going on in the network. Right, everything is fine. I've got no console errors. So let me close down this. I have service workers doing something, I reckon. So I'm going to close that down and I'm going to open again. And let me see. No, it's going to do the same thing. It's not going to work. Okay, so I've got reviews and I've got no reviews. So it's not fetching anything because there's nothing in content, right? So that's fine. I need to put in my reviews folder and it should fetch. And I have a title. And if I print out here my data, And I am getting data and I'm getting my all Vienna. So that's good. So it's now working, and let me see, this should work now. It's basically, I think there's something, ooh, this one. No, this is not giving me anything. Oh, I need to put in reviews. There we go. Okay, so because I'm in the reviews folder, I'm going into my API under content, and I need to put in the reviews folder so I can see what's in that folder, because there's nothing in my content folder, right? If I was to put in, if I was to put something in here at this level, then I would see that at that level. If not, I've got to go in and click on this. So I'm getting all my beers, right? And I can see this. You can always see what's in your API and how to call it by using the underscore content, right? So let me just put that over there. Okay, what else? Where are we here? So we don't need to print all this out because we've got that, and that's kind of, you know, yeah, too much. Let's get that off the page because we can use the API, which makes it easier. So let me remove that. And let me see if I have no title here, which is very strange. That is strange, isn't it? V4 review in reviews, reviews.title, right? So that doesn't work when you put an S. So review.title should work. And there we have our reviews and all Vienna. So my styling is really, really bad here, right? Okay, so really I should have better styling. But that's basically getting me those there, okay? So let me just fix the styling a little bit. Let me see what I can do. I'm just going to throw a class in here. Don't worry about classes. I'm just throwing Tailwind in to make it, you know, easier. There we go. And that should style it out a little bit. Okay, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But anyway, you can see what I mean, right? So I've got my titles. So what else can I do? Now, when I'm kind of trying to figure out what's... yeah, I know. This is why I wanted to show you it. Sorry, thanks, Erwin. Yeah, review.title. I always mix my S's and my thing up. What I want to show you is really the API and how to use it, because it's really, really cool. So when things don't work, it's a really, really good idea to go in and see what's going on in the API. And then you know what you're fetching, and at least you know you're fetching it right, and maybe you've like made a typo and stuff. So what else can we do with this API? So let's go into our content documentation, and we can have a look, right? And you can see as we go down a little bit, we can actually use operators, right? So I can say, for example, so like the endpoint is accessible on get and post, and I can put like, you know, so for example, let's do only equals title, right? Because I showed you how to do that earlier. Well, let's do it in the API. So I can do, I think it's and only equals title. Oh, I always save. I don't know why I always do that, but I always save. So let me see if I did that right. Question mark. Question mark. Yeah, question mark. Only equals title. Okay, so let me have a look. Refresh. No, that didn't work. Question mark only equals title. Yes, there we go. Okay, sometimes it doesn't work. I think when I'm streaming and I do something, it just like slows things down a little bit. So we can use the API to see that I only want the title, and we can see all Vienna getting started and on this Miller High Life, right? So I can see in here that they're the titles I got, so I can see that my API is giving me exactly what I want, right? Because in here, I just did the title, right? I'm fetching everything, but I'm just showing the title. So this can kind of like give me an idea of what's going on in my API. So I could also do, I think, if I do and description like this, it should work. No, and description, Debbie, and oh, I spelled description wrong. If I spell description wrong, then it doesn't work. And description. So and description and equals description. Let's check. I never know this. And only, oh, we got to do only again. Okay, no worries. We can do that. And only equals description. Oh, really? And only, I don't know if you're seeing this because it's quite small probably. So there we go. We've got description and the title, right? So that's basically how I can play around with this. So now I can get the description, the title. I always get the path and the extensions, that's fine. So I can see now, okay, I've got a great description and I can print that out on my page, just like I would do the title, right? Review.title. I can do exactly the same with a paragraph and review.descript. I need to learn how to spell. It would make my life a lot easier. OnlyFans. Okay, review.description. And we've got, let's go in here, and I've got my beautiful description, right? So I've got, it's really ugly, I know, but it works. That's the main point. Okay, what else? We can get our image exactly the same. And, you know, I can see like in here, let's see if the image works. Let me see if I can make that a bit bigger. No, it doesn't make that bigger. So you're only seeing the, in the bar at the top, I can't make that bigger. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just writing another and I'm putting only equals, I think I called it img. And now I've got my image path, right? So I can see, and I can actually see something's wrong here. And one of them, it doesn't have an image. So that's going to give me a little bit of a problem. It's not going to show an image, but I can see it's the problem is my API, right? It's not there. So I could fix that I need to fix that in my API and not in my actual content. So let's get an image into this. And I'm just going to copy one I already wrote and I'll put it in here. Review.image, img, review.title, a little bit of class there. And there we've got our image, right? So this image is broken, right? And you could go, why is that image broken? Oh my God, no, it's broken. What am I going to do? But as you can see, it's broken from the API. So that's when you can go and say like, okay, I need to fix this in the API. So then you can basically go into the API, into the content folder and see which beer it is. One of these images is broken, right? So let's have a look at which beer it is. It is the getting the Belgian moon. The Belgian moon is broken, really? That was working the other day. So you can see here, I've got a little error in the content. I fix that and save it. And then I should have an image. We'll see. You see, right? So there was a problem in my YAML. And sometimes that happens when it goes onto another line, the YAML gets a little bit mixed up and then you end up like going, hey, I've got an image, but there is an image there. So yeah, basically just check that and kind of fix that because this is where it was before and that's how it was now, and let's fix that. Okay, so that's cool, right? That's how to get it from the API. But what if I want the actual page, right? The review page. So I can create a review page. Let me see. In my pages directory, let's create a _slug file .view, right? And what I'm going to do is I want to fetch again. Well, let me just do a v template, vbase. I just want the vbase. So you can see I'm using the code snippets here. I'm just putting vb and then I'm getting all this, right? I'm getting template, div template, script, export default script, lang, SCSS. Don't really need SCSS, but that's fine. I can actually go down and choose CSS, right? So this gives me everything. But okay, it's a bit ugly because of the red, because prettier is kind of going, hey, you know, that's fine. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to fetch my content again. Right, so do you remember how to fetch the content? No, I've forgotten. Don't worry, go back to the documentation. We can go anywhere to any of these. Let's go to displaying content and let's just copy our async data. I spent all my life copying, I swear. Okay, so let's put that in here. And we've got $content and we're fetching home. We're not fetching home, we're fetching our reviews folder, right? We're fetching our reviews folder. That's where all our beers are stored, and we can call it page. That's fine actually, because we want to get the page of that review. Okay, so now we want to print out that page, and what we do, and we've seen it here, this is how we print out the page. We use the Nuxt content component. So let's copy that and let's put it in. Oh, let me put a heading in first because, you know, this is the review of the beer. I mean, we can make that dynamic later, right? We put that in there. And what's going to happen here? So this is not going to work, right? Let's have a look. It's called pages slug. We should put it in a reviews folder just to make life easier. Reviews. There we go. Move that, yes. So let me go to reviews and see what's happening. So unexpected empty source. Okay, so I've got style lint things. So let me just remove you first and then I'll be able to see the page. That will make my life easier. Let's go to reviews. We put it in a reviews folder. We put JJ, SS, whatever. So this is the review the beer, right? This isn't a dynamic page because we use the underscore. So anything I put in here, I'm just going to get like, you know, la la la. It's just going to work, right? But that's not really useful, is it? It's not really very good. It's not exactly what I want. It's not giving me the review. It's not giving me the content of the page. So let's fix that. So we've already got our content, but what we need to get is the params, right? We need to be able to read from the params. Let's have a look at our param, for example, our slug of Old Vienna. And like Old Vienna, this is like, it doesn't have a slug here, right? But if I look in my API, and let's get rid of all this only, so I can see everything I get. And you can see I've got a slug here, right? So my slug is Old Vienna. And what I really want to do is I want to put Old Vienna in here as my slug. And I want to get Old Vienna. And I'm not getting Old Vienna. Ah, seriously? Why am I not getting Old Vienna? So I want to get the page details of Old Vienna and I'm not getting it. But what I really want to do is work with params. So this is called our params. So what we can do is we can go to our slug page and we can pass in params. So we pass in params, which means then I have access to params, right? So now I can say, I want to go to the reviews folder, and then I want you to give me the file, the markdown file called params.slug, right? Does that make sense? That's kind of exactly the same as if I put in here Old Vienna, right? If I do this, this should work. Let's see. I don't even know if this works. Yay! Okay, so this works, right? So we're getting Old Vienna because I typed in Old Vienna, but that's not very dynamic, is it, right? So that's why I said we don't want to put in, create a page for Old Vienna, create a page for Belgian Moon. We'd be creating pages all the time, right? So that's why we use the params.slug, okay? And we have access to the slug because it comes from our API from content. So we get all that out of the box, right? So that's kind of working. Is your mind blown away? It's like, whoa, wait a second, that just worked. That's kind of like really cool, right? So again, we have Old Vienna, we've Belgian Moon. So we should be able to like put in here Belgian Moon. Belgian Moon. And we should get Belgian Moon, right? This is, if you're looking at the text, this is like a lorem ipsum for beer. So you're probably like kind of going, wait, this is not Belgian Moon. It's all just kind of made up text, right? So you're probably thinking, hey, this is not really easy to understand which beer I'm getting, right? So yeah, like, is Debbie really making this up? Doesn't look much different to me. So let's kind of, but this is the review of the beer. Let's put in the actual title, right? So we can put in, we can put in page.title. Now let's see what we get back from that. And we get our Belgian Moon up here, right? So I've got no classes in here, which is kind of like making it a little bit ugly. But the title is there, Belgian Moon, and then I get all that lovely content, right? Now if I go to my review page, which has my beers, no, my index page, my home page, then I should be able to click on this and it should just bring me to the right page, right? So we can kind of like, yeah, we can do that. That's kind of easy enough to do. So what I need is a link, a Nuxt link. So I'm going to copy one I made earlier. I'm going to just put it in here so I can show you into my index page. And again, this is really, really ugly. So excuse the ugliness. And we want to put a link in here under in our v4. And we want to link to reviews, review.slug. So using the Nuxt link, we're going to, reviews and review.slug. Remember, we had access to our review, to our slug from content. So that's how that works. And this should work. This should work. Do you think it'll work? Oh, it might not work. Right, I've got a link, and if you look down the bottom of the page, you can kind of see as I'm hovering over it, and if I click on all Vienna, yes, I get all Vienna. Now if I go back, and if I click on the Belgian moon, yes, I'm getting Belgian moon. And if I click on the Miller High Life, yes, I'm getting Miller High Life, right? So that is really, really cool and easy-ish to use, right? So what else can we do? Let's have a look at our API. I like the API because it's quite fun. So let's have a look. API, search, API endpoint. So what else can we do with this endpoint? So this uses like a database under the hood. So we're basically able to do anything that you would normally do with a database, right? So like we can even just like limit our numbers. Let's have a look. Let's see if this works. Let's limit to 2. Oh, limit is not found. Oh, really? It's from the docs. Seriously? Let's do, I think we need an only. Okay, let's do only title and description. So I'm going to click on this link and see what happens. No, articles not found because we don't have an articles, right? Let's change that to reviews. So we're basically saying I only want the title and I only want the description and I want to limit it to only 2. Let's see if it works. Yes! And I only get 2. Right, so this is how you can really play around with the API by using these. And we've got like query examples as well. It's using Loki.js under the hood. So how does query examples work? Oh, it's going to find all these. So you can use like any of these expressions, right? You can say like only where legs not equal to 8. So that's a bit silly, but you know, we could have title contains or equals or has or whatever. So there's a lot of information going on here. There's a lot of really cool things you can do. You can use nested properties as well. And you can use where, like, so you can use the operators, content articles, where author equals, etc. So there's kind of like a lot of cool things you can do in the API itself. Let's go back to there. And then in the actual page, how would you do this like now in here, right? So say I want... I don't know, what do we want? What do we want? Let's have a look at our documentation at where. Let's put in where. Where. Let's use the where query. I like the where query. So where title equals home. Okay, I like that. Let's copy that. Or let's, yeah, no, this is fine. We'll do this one. So we'll copy this and we put it in, let me see, in the slug page. No, we'll put it in the reviews. We'll put it in here. So where title equals, and let's get a title. What title do we have? We have an All Vienna, right? Let's copy that title and go back. So we should only get one beer, right? Because we only have one All Vienna. So I'm basically saying go and get my reviews, but only where title equals All Vienna. And now I've only got All Vienna, right? So there's a lot of really kind of cool things we can play around with here. By using the where, and we can just like do so much. Let's have a look at what else we can do in here. I mean, we can do a greater than, an equals, where name in Odin or Thor. Cool. So, you know, we can search for, you know, if it's got beer in the title or in the description. So there's so many things you can use with the where. The where is really cool. It's a really cool query. We can say where categories.slug contains top, or where categories.slug contains top women. Woo! I like that. I like that. Do you like that? So that's kind of really cool, right? You can also sort by. So we can sort our articles by title. I like that. Let me do that one, right? Let's copy that. Again, always copy from the documentation. It's great. So let's go back to having all of them. Let's get that where one out of there. It was really nice, but you know. And let's do a sort by title. So let's see if this works. And now we've got Belgian Moon, Miller, and All Vienna, right? If I get rid of that, let's just go back to there and delete it, right? Now, I've got All Vienna, Belgian Moon, and Miller, right? So you saw how I was able to sort it by the title. What to change? Woo, did you see that? Okay, so Belgian Moon is first. So that's kind of really cool as well. And you could sort it by the date. You could sort it by so many things. So the chat's very quiet. Are you all still out there? Are you still watching? Are you kind of like mind blown away? Or is it like, you know, oh, this is so easy. I know what I'm doing. Limit. Yeah, you can limit the number. So if you had like a load of things, you want to do pagination or whatever, you could limit it. So we could just go in here and say, I mean, I only have 3, right? So let's like just limit it to 2, just like, you know, to see how that works. And we saw how that worked in the API. So this is how you do it in the actual text. So limit to, and I've got 2 beers, right? 2 beers is never enough. We need to have more than 2 beers. So limiting your beers to 2 is never really a good idea, but it can be done. Okay, so you're working at the same time, Edward. Oh, I know, it's a hard life. Okay, so limit is good. Skip. So skip is like fetch the next 5 articles. So you can kind of skip, you know, you can skip 2 articles and get the 3rd one, etc. And let me see, did I cover all of these? Sort by, where, without. Oh, without. I like the without one, right? So you're going to think, without, what is this doing? So I can fetch without the body, right? You might go, you want to fetch without the body? You want beer without your body? I know. So fetching without the body, how does that work? So in the, well, let me show you on this page, because this has the body, right? This is the body. So if I was to put in without body, right, I'm going to fetch this without the body. And if I go to my review and click on here, I got no body. I've got no body. I've got no body anymore, right? So if you fetch, not hard when you love what you do. Oh, that's good. You're working with Nuxt, obviously then, Edward. Nice face there. Maximilian has got the glasses on. He's focusing heavily on this. So yeah, if we do without body, we get no body, which is this. This is not going to work for us. Okay, so that's how that works. If I get rid of that without body, then I'm going to get my body, right? So why would you not want the body? Well, you see in this page here, in the home page, I'm not using the body. I'm getting the title, the description, the image. So I could use like a only in here, and I could say only title, only description, only, and have a big massive array. Or I could just go without body, bam, I don't want the body, and that should work just perfectly. I get everything I want, but I'm not fetching that body back, right? So my JSON is going to be smaller, and I'm only getting what I want. Okay, so that's how that works. And you can only fetch the body as well. So yeah, without is kind of pretty cool. So yeah, they're the only ones. We did that. We covered that. I think we pretty much covered a lot. We covered a lot of the API. The API is cool. So do kind of like play around with it and use it. And then you've got a search as well, right? So you can actually search, and you can search the title, search welcome. And this is how you're able to create that search field, right? You can create the search field by using this this .search. So you fetch your content and you search it, right? So that's kind of really cool as well. Another great one is surround. So this is when you're creating your previous and next, then you use the surround in here, and you basically say, right, I want to fetch the articles with only title and the path, sorted by the date, where is archived false, and surround it by the article 2 and fetch it, right? Felix is watching, great. Sometimes I never know if I'm talking to myself or if the world is watching. So yeah, so this is fetching content, and I really encourage you to read the documentation. The Nuxt content documentation is fantastic and tells you all of these in here. And it says, check out this code snip on how to implement previous and next links into your app. What? So if I click this, I actually get the previous and next. So I can actually just add this in to, can you show the view component integration in .md file? Okay, I never thought about that one. Okay, so yeah, you can use components in your markdown file. Just like anything. Let me see if I have a component that's already made, because yeah, let me do this one. No, I've got a load. That's a really terrible component. I've got no components ready. Let me just make a component really quickly. Let me just see. Have there any ideas here? It's table of contents. I just want a snippet of a component. Otherwise, I'll just make a button component. But it's just kind of like really boring. Okay, now let's create a. So if I look in here, I might even find a nice example of a component. Right, yes, displaying a component. So this is a component. I want to go to view components. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let me see if I got a view component. View components. Okay, cool. So one thing to remember with view components is that when you're using components, you've got to use my component, so kebab case instead of my component, right? That's really, really important because otherwise it won't work. So you can add in your component just like you would any component, and you have access to these here. You came in late, Micho, that's okay. You can rewind it later and and you can find out what's going on, don't worry. So yeah, basically your component, let's take this component here and create a component called, what is it? I don't know what this component is called. We'll just call it whatever. So we can put in a component anywhere we want in our components folder. Let me see, new file. Let's call it my component.view, and let's put in here. Let me take that away. So, well, let me just do something simpler, it'd be easier. Let me just do a H1, right? A H2, easier. Just to see how it works, right? So this is a really terrible example of a component. This is a component. We probably can, style it. You can see why I need prettier, right? Because as I type, it's just like, oh, it's a mess. So this is your component. It's a terrible component. It's absolutely terrible. And you want to use my component in your documentation, or in your article or whatever. Then you need to use it like this, right? So you need to use my component, and then you put it into, where are we using it? In our, I don't know, Old Vienna. Let's do an Old Vienna. And we can put it under the introduction, and we put in my component, right? So it's really important that there's a line under them. Sometimes, like, if you do this, it can kind of like, yeah, it's not very happy. It doesn't like it. Now, Markdown is going to give you that warning and say, inline HTML, no. But just say whatever. Okay, and I don't even know if this works. Let me see. Oh, I'm not getting my I've got it limited. Here we go. Get rid of the limits. I can get all my beers, and I should get my 3 beers. And did I get my component? I didn't get my component. Why did I not get my component? There we go. I did. I got an error. Great. At least it works. So Old Vienna, what did I do in here? Oh, look. There we go. That's a bit better. I've got double. Sometimes when I'm typing, it just adds all these extra things in for me, and then I don't realize. So now I should get my component in here, which doesn't do anything because there's nothing really in this component. My component basically said this is a component with color red, right? So I should see that component in the body, and I'm not seeing it. It's not coming up. Why is it not coming up? Let's have a look. What do we do wrong? My component. And we can check in here. I probably should have used the proper example, because we actually put in our documentation, we've thrown code sandbox in as a component. We throw like a quiz in there as a component. So you can throw like everything you want in there, and it normally just works. But when you're live coding, it doesn't work. Okay. My component, where's my index page? And where did I put it? Oh, I didn't put it in the page. I put it in the old Vienna page, right? And let's see what happens if I just do this. Right, so this component is working. I've got my SS, which is like, not very good. So I just need to kind of like, you know, use templates and use slots and pass down. I can pass this down properly into, so if I change this to button, I should just use button like this, right? No, sometimes Emmet works, sometimes it doesn't. Button, my button. And then I should get like, you know, a button. Let me see. Does it give me a button? It doesn't. Dun 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 dun. My component. Oh. Okay. Yes. See, when you don't do things for a while and when you don't read the documentation, then you end up making a mess. So what I need to do is, you can put your components in a components global directory so you don't have to import them in your pages. So if you're finding that they're not working, you can put them in global, in the global folder, and then you should have your components. So that sometimes sometimes something you need to do, right? So check the version of Nuxt you're using, and then put it in a global folder in the components, and then you'll have access to that. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to show you specifically? If not, I'm gonna like show you something else that I want to show you. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna show you something that I like, that it's really cool. Let me go out of my components and go back to my old Vienna and get rid of that. So yeah, as I said, like, you know, you can put your components in, depending on the version that you're using, you might need to use a global folder and put it in there, right? And then you can use it in your markdown, and you can use any component you want. I can, like, the Nuxt documentation is a great example because we use the code sandbox examples, and we use what do you call it, alerts and stuff like that. So you can kind of like use them, but I have no components created, so it's not really very useful right now in here. Okay, so another great thing, I'm in here, okay? Now this is really ugly, right? And it's kind of like, oh, it's hurting my eyes, it's so ugly. So there's another great thing we can do to make this easier. And if you're using Tailwind, let me just drink some water. So if you're using Tailwind, you can go down here to the examples and you go to Tailwind CSS Typography. Right, now this is really cool. And it's kind of have to fish a little bit about in here. But you can see what's going on in here. Let me just get rid of that so we can kind of see what's going on. So I've got a class, and I'm just going to copy this class because I don't know what it does, right? But it looks good. I want typography. So I can copy the pros. This is coming from Tailwind, and I put that into my application. So I put it into my Nuxt content. Okay, in here, class equals blah, blah. Beautiful. It's not going to do anything for me right now. It's just, you know, not working. It's not working. It's not working. Why is it not working? Well, it's not working because I haven't really done anything. I've just kind of like pasted it in, right? So let's have a look at what's going on in here. And let's look at the Nuxt config. So in here, I've got Tailwind CSS. I've got Nuxt content. I've already got that. That's fine. But look what I've got in here. I've got a Tailwind config file that has a plugin that requires the Tailwind CSS typography. That looks like what I want. So what do? Well, I'm just going to copy this, right? So I'm just going to like take this. I need to create a tailwind.config.js file. So let's go to my code. Let's go down here. I don't have one. I don't have a Tailwind. I don't have a Tailwind file. I've got Tailwind installed, but I have no Tailwind file, so I'm just going to create it. Tailwind.config.js. Because we've installed Tailwind, we're getting the default config. So then this is going to be merged with the default one. So I'm basically adding in this Tailwind CSS typography. Now, if I look at my code, it's like, oh, damn, it's not working again, right? So this doesn't work. No money mess, and it does. There's another page you need to look at in here. And if I look in my package JSON, I have a Tailwind CSS typography package, right? Because like, obviously I've basically just said, require this, but I haven't like done anything to, you know, get it from. Where's it requiring it from? So we can just add this in here by using yarn add or npm install, throw that in, and that's gonna like, you know, basically use that. Now I might need to restart the dev server because you know, it's installed another package, etc. So let me just do that quickly. No, it's because I didn't install it. Maximilian. So I'm now installing it. So there's 3 things you need to do. You need to put it into your Tailwind config, you need to install it, and then you need to use the classes, right? Remember that we added those classes in our index file. We added, not in our index, was it in our index? No, it's in our slug page. We added those pros classes, right? So now it should work. If not, it will be cache, right? Let's watch, let's have a look. If this doesn't work, it's cache. Cache kills me sometimes. Whoa, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, I've just got this, yeah, I know I need to build again, yeah. So yeah, I've just basically got that bum. See, the chat's coming in after, like, you know, so you're all seeing you're all kind of like playing along with me, you know, kind of playing dumb and kind of going, oh, I don't know how to do it. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's quite funny. But there's a bit of a delay between me and you. So like, as you watch this, you're like, and then I see you going, hey, build again, hey, do this. It's quite funny. It's cool. I like it. So yeah, that is just beautiful, right? And you saw what I had to do to get that. 3 things. Install that package, add your Tailwind config, so you're requiring the package, and add in the class. That's it, right? And you can see this is my title that I built myself, and this is what Tailwind is just giving me to style my markdown content. So it's really, 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 really cool. If you missed that and you're like, wow, where do I get that? It's in the documentation under Tailwind CSS Typography, right? So that's power. Let me show you something else really interesting in my application. For example, I don't really like the grizzly bear. I think that sounds a bit strange. So if I wanted to kind of like edit that, what I can do is I can click on here and I've got this editor, right? And I go, let's change it to lovely, the lovely bear, and then just kind of like exit. Now, when I'm in a full mode, it's kind of like sometimes hard because what I did was I didn't put like any margins and stuff. So it can cause a little bit of a problem, and I can easily fix that by just saying like class equals margin 4, for example, mx4 4. There we go. Let me see. And that just kind of like will give me a little bit of, so when I click on this again, I've got that little bit of margin there. That's just because like I've got no design. But if you find that you can't close the editor, then just kind of, you know, throw some margins in there. So what's going on here? This is, I'm editing my content, right? This is my whole, this is my like, yeah, this is like it. This is so cool. I could like literally change the title to be, let's change it to be Debbie's beer, for example. So I can put this in here and I can change the introduction to live editing with content. And now I just have to click out of here. Don't press save, because if you press save, then it gives you all this like editor. You can still save, but you don't need to press save, right? Now, did you just see that? Like I just got Debbie's beer, right? Now that's coming from my title, which I haven't styled, so that's why it's over there. I know. Should fix my styling. And I've just got introduction to live editing with content, right? Now I just got that by just clicking, and I got lovely beer inside the polar bear beer. No, let's change that inside the, I don't know, inside the nice beer, for example. I'm like really playing around here. I think the product owners would like Nuxt content. Yeah, I know. Right now I click outside, and like this is so cool, right? This is editing, and I'm editing my YAML, or I'm editing my content, whatever I want to edit. And I can even put in a component in here. Now, again, I'm no component created, but I could like, you know, put in my component, my component. I can put in some JS, and I can put in like, I don't know, let me see, const A equals B, terrible JS, and save that, and like, you know, just come out of there, and then I should get like, you know, my button, right? That's coming from my component, and I've got that const A equals B, and it's just beautiful, and it's just working right out of the box. So now you're going to say, right, but you're editing live here, right? And I can, you know, I can add in const A and B equals return, right? I'm editing this right here, and you're going to say, yeah, but you're editing it live here. What happens now, my editor, my code? Like if I refresh the page, what happens? Does this just all disappear? Let's have a look. I'm refreshing the page, and it's still there. Okay, that's good, right? So it's still there. Does it actually save itself, or how do I now save that? Do I need to go in here and copy all this and paste it, or what? So what happens is, and let's have a look at my terminal. Let's try that one out, and you will see it updated content. It updated it as I saved it, right? So it's been updated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And if I go to my actual content page, which one am I doing? I don't even remember. I think it's all Vienna. Yes, I've got title Debbie's beer, and I've got my component, and I've got that JS. So I've got all that in there. It's all saved, right? And that's kind of really cool. That's the power of Nuxt content. So you're able to edit it just by clicking on it in the browser, and then it saves. And let me just show you another one just to show you. Let's go to the home page. I should have created a back button. I know I don't have reviews, and I keep doing this. This is why you should always create a back button, and then it makes your life easier. So I've got Debbie's beer, and let's have a look. Who we got in the chat there? Let's put let's click on this. Now, really important, if I click on this Belgian beer, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to let me edit it because that's the YAML. I need to click on the content, and that's really important. If you're trying to use the editing, you need to click on the content part and not where the title is coming from, not where the YAML is coming from. So if I click in here, I can put my title, and I can put, let me get Micho's beer. Right, and then I click out of there, and I've got Micho's beer, okay? And if I go back into my, which one did I give him? No, the Belgian one, Micho's beer, right? And you can see there that it kind of saved that one there as well. You can see that happening. You probably can't because my face is over that one. So let me just make the editor. There we go. So now, yeah, you can see how that was saved, updated. So that's really cool. That's how content works. I don't know what else I can cover with content because it's so cool. I love content. It's really, really great. There's so much things you can do with it. Like I said, the API is fantastic, so check that out. The Tailwind typography is fantastic. If you're creating documentation, there's an actual theme. You can kind of like play around with that. And that's in here, and you can actually just create documentation by just using Nuxt content docs and creating your project name, and then you get a whole documentation like, you know, set out. So that's really, really cool. If you're creating modules or plugins or something and you want documentation, or in your application maybe you want documentation, so that's kind of cool. And then you got like snippets. So again, really cool. We've got our snippets just for using async data, for using head if you wanted to add in like, you know, your meta content into your like description, etc. So that's all in there. The search one, like you can literally just copy this and then you've got search. Like this is just cool, right? So this, you can create a search component, copy that in, and it's just gonna work. Just gonna work. Like it's brilliant, right? So that works. Previous and next. If you want previous and next, you just have to copy this code snippet, just click on that button, copy it in, and then you've got previous and next. Table of contents, right? If you wanted a table of contents, literally again, just like copy that and you go to table of contents, So I really encourage you to play around with the content module and check out the documentation. If you want the highlighter, right, to get your file name and stuff, the custom highlighter, you can add that in. And then you've got Shiki as a syntax highlighter, so you can use that. There's so much stuff in here, right? So, and then if you needed more integrations with a Nuxt.js feed, for example, you could add that in here. And what else? I know I'm just there's so much to do. It's oh my gosh, right? So yeah, the Nuxt.js sitemaps, you can put that in as well, or with forestry CMS. So if you're kind of saying, yeah, and one of you mentioned in the chat, the product owners, that was you, Maximilian, the product owners would love this. The problem is that it's Git based, right? So you need to be in localhost. This doesn't work live in a in the real world. It only works in your localhost. So basically the editing feature is really for developers and stuff. But you could throw in forestry. You could connect it with Netlify CMS. I've seen someone else do that, and then you could have that login, etc. But other than that, I encourage you to read this blog post if you want to use forestry with it. But pretty much Nuxt content is really powerful, and it's just getting better and better and better. And there's a full team working on it. It's really, really cool. So yeah, pretty much check it out. Play around with it. If you have any questions, reach out. Like I said before, the Nuxt content documentation is fantastic. We don't need that one. We don't need that anymore. Also here you can download this and save it onto your desktop or print it if you have paper. This will kind of help you, highlighting with Prisma, for example. How to add view components is all in here as well. If you wanted to work with name slots, how to display it, etc. So this is really, really, really cool. I highly recommend it. Again, the documentation in Nuxt, just search for content, literally just content, and you'll get content, or you'll also get the create a blog, which I have open here, and you can literally read all of this if you want to, and create your blog, or you can I know I did that too fast, or you can click on the demo and basically click on here, and you get the demo, and you can see how this is a blog post that I created, and you can see how this search works. I don't know, into the unknown, and you got some tags going on there, and the source code is here, and you can literally clone it and star it and play around with it and completely take it away and make it your own and have fun, right? So there's a lot of options there for playing around with content. And if you just want to say, I want to know how to do, I don't know, the search field, there's a, it's all written here. Working with the API, so we already covered this. And there's a video as well, so you can see this. You don't have to watch this whole video back, right? You can, but I really, really highly encourage you to check out the docs. I like the new docs. Thank you, Maximilian. Thank you, Kim. I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any doubts about content at all, do reach out to us and do kind of just send me a message and say, hey, this is not working, or how do I do this? But I strongly encourage you to go through the documentation, because it really does help. Or like I said, just, fork this project. Where is it? Yeah, fork that project. And basically play around with it. Break things. The more you break things, the better you get at making things, and just have fun with content. And that's all from me. So have fun, and see you all in the next stream. Bye.